It's a pretty special achievement for young Shreyas Iyer to get a century and a half century in the same test match. Time now for me to get my guests into the show. I'm joined at this hour by former Indian cricketer Ashok Malhotra and cricket commentator Charu Sharma. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show. Ashok, to you first. Shreyas says that he has been in situations like this before in red ball cricket, but in Ranji Trophy. Would you say that those stints are the ones that prepared him for this big stage? Talk to us a little bit about his temperament, because when he came in, India was in a spot of bother today.
See, that is how stars are made. You know, when chips are down, that is the right time to walk in. You know, that's what makes a hero. So that is exactly what has happened to Shreyas Iyer in both the innings, and he's done it number of times in Mumbai. You know, he scored more than 1,000 runs a year, and he scored tons of runs here, although he was not considered for longer version of the game, which surprised all of us. You know, he had to come through the 2020 and then 50 overs and now into the test cricket, and he's grabbed it with both hands. But the credit must be given to him. 51 for 5, we were looking down at the barrel of the gun. The way he handled and consolidated the lead and played around with his tailenders, be it Ashwin, be it Wriddhiman Saha, be it Akshar Patel. So that shows that he's meant for bigger things. And I would say one more thing, Rika. Time is running out for Cheteshwar and Rahane. I don't know, both are competing with each other. Who will want to go out first? Because it has been a long time, almost 2 years, averaging 24, 25, 26. Right. I think you cannot stay in an Indian team which has a huge bench strength.
As good as they are, we don't know how long they are going to have their run with the Indian cricket team. Now that brings me to the question, Charu, really does Shreyas Iyer get another chance in Mumbai to play the next test? Or do we see him go out like, Karun Nair did after scoring a triple? Because Virat Kohli is going to come in for the next test match.
Well, Karun Nair's case is heartbreaking, without doubt, because he's such a fabulous red ball player, and then he had to go and make a living in white ball cricket. Now, Shreyas, of course, is the complete outfit here, and he has begun magnificently. But I have to say that the way our situation is structured here in the country, I think we will get our senior players back, and Shreyas might have to sit out, unless, of course, they make changes to the current 11 and say, well, one or two of you might have to sit out to allow Shreyas to continue, even as the big boys return. So I leave that to the selectors, but in the past, we used to be far more sticky in our teams, and that if somebody made the Indian cricket team, they had a very long run. Now, because of several situations, just many more people are getting opportunities. And I do think that the Indian selection mindset may also change, and people may not in the future get long runs, because there's so many hungry, young, talented players waiting. And maybe, like I've always said, a cricket generation is only 5 years. You play your best cricket for 5 years. If you don't get a chance in the national team, you'll likely be frustrated, disappointed, and never play. So this is the moment for Shreyas Iyer. If they leave him, it'll be a travesty of justice. But the people who missed out, of course, will be given first opportunity to return, because they are very big players.
Ashok, let me ask you about, Rahul Dravid coming in. This is his first series as India's full-time coach. Would he like to make big changes and big decisions like dropping a Pujara or a Rahane and, retaining Shreyas Iyer?
Rika, this will show what is made of. You know, what Charu is saying, I don't think the history is going to repeat itself. He is going to set his own history, Rahul Dravid, and you have to take some tough decisions. We understand we are all going gaga over Rahul Dravid taking over as a coaching job, but now the tough decision has to be taken. You know, if you are a tough player, you have to be a tough coach too. And I don't see Shreyas Iyer going out. I will see one of these, either Cheteshwar Pujara or Ajinkya Rahane. Sitting out in the next match. It has to be. Or maybe even somebody like Shubman Gill or Mayank Agarwal. You know, there are a whole lot of guys, but since they are openers, they might just stay in. But one of these two will have to make way for Shreyas Iyer, because he's batted beautifully. And it's not that it's his first time. He's been doing that around 4 or 5 years. And he's not been, he has never been given a look in. So now he's got the opportunity. He's grabbed it with both hands. And I don't know how long can we wait. Rahane, as you're showing, is averaging 24.4. And same Cheteshwar Pujara, and even Virat Kohli is averaging 26 point something. So the middle order has been, the top order has scored lesser number of runs and,
Right.
compared to
It's
the lower
it's the tail
lower
that
order.
has rescued India today.
Yeah,
183
always.
runs coming in from those last 3 partnerships. Charu, let me ask you this question now. How long do you expect the Kiwis to bat on tomorrow? 280 runs to get on the final day, and that's a tall task.
Well, I don't think they're going to get 280. So it's a question of will they be able to survive or be all out pretty quickly. I would go for the latter. I think the Indian spinners already in the 4 overs that we've seen with the new ball, which should be turning and should not be turning and jumping, is actually turning and keeping low. So this is not a very good pitch at all now on day 5 here at Kanpur. It used to be the greenest, finest pitch in India. Not this test match for sure. Kane Williamson, of course, is the big one. Maybe Latham too. If India makes some early breakthroughs tomorrow, it could end by before tea, is my guess. I mean, no disrespect to the New Zealand players, but the pitch is really going to be very tricky on day 5. And the Indian spinners are in a very, very good caliber or standard. And I don't see Ashwin and Akshar not picking up this opportunity with both hands and ending up with 4 or 5 wickets apiece.
Well, that's what Ashok also has been saying since yesterday, that it'll all wind up by tea. But Ashok, just tell us, what's been the difference between the Kiwi spinners and the Indian spinners?
See, the difference is they're not able to turn the ball at all. If you look at Shreyas Iyer, he was bringing the ball back in, and as Charu said, the ball was keeping low and then turning square. And the way Ashwin was bowling, he was turning the ball. So, 5th day is going to be difficult. And if you look at Kiwis, most of the wickets have been taken by the fast bowlers, which I would say
Right.
really depresses me looking at the Indian top order falling to fast bowlers on a docile wicket comparatively. You know, so that is, and Indian spinners, as Charu very rightly said, by tea time, I don't think even Williamson will be able to handle our spinners on the 5th day wicket.
Right, but as the Indian tail batted, in fact, the last 3 partnerships together put 183 runs. They showed that there is not much demon in the pitch. It's the quality of bowling that has done the Kiwis in the first innings, and perhaps as they look at 280 runs, it may be very difficult for them to get on the final day. The best is that they can draw the Kanpur test, but my experts don't seem to agree with me. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining me on the show this evening. With that, our wrap on Turning Point. Thank you very much for watching.